Bill, Nancy, then down to John. Campaign money this time, something different than growth. All right. Many in Idaho fundamentally believe that outside money should not influence local and state elections. Please explain your rationale in receiving campaign contributions. Many in Idaho fundamentally believe that outside money should not influence local and state elections. Please explain your rationale in receiving campaign contributions.
Well, the one thing I can tell you that is all my contributions that I have received have been in Latah County. So, and I don't apologize for that. Thank you very much for those that donated to me to help my funding for my quest to become the mayor of Moscow.
Well, I think receiving money from family and friends who live outside the area is not an uncommon thing for candidates. As I presume that the question was motivated by a recent campaign contribution I received from Mayor Michael Bloomberg from New York City. It was an unsolicited, unanticipated contribution. I also received funding from the former mayor of Pullman, who's lived in Eugene, Oregon for a number of years, and recognizes the work I do here. Mayor Bloomberg was just featured on the cover of Time magazine as deciding to take part of his $31 billion fortune and expend it on causes and people he believes in. And he's supporting centrists, people who are willing to compromise, people who are problem solvers and innovators. And I hope that that's the reason he chose to contribute to my campaign. It was very discreetly done. It was discussed among my campaign committee, and I sent him a thank you note, which is posted on my campaign website, so you can read about my rationale.
Thank you. Down to John.
It's interesting the number and the amount of contributions that you get when you run for city council versus running for mayor. 4 years ago when I ran for mayor, I had a lot more money. This year, not so much. I got one contribution from an old college buddy who lives in Seattle. Everything else I got came from you folks, people here in Latah County. But it costs a lot of money to run one of these campaigns here in Moscow. And do I particularly like having outside money come in? Well, I like it when it comes to me. I'm not so sure I like it when it comes to somebody else.
This is my fourth campaign, and I never am ceased to be amazed at what it costs to do this, to try to get on the city council in Moscow, Idaho. And it's not unique to Moscow, it's just the cost of media, the advertising, trying to get your name out, signs and so forth, but it still is just shocking. It almost gives me the ability to understand the numbers they use with all those zeros when they're talking about presidential campaigns. And with the exception of the local $52 payment to get on Channel 11, we don't all, none of us, I would think, buy TV. I've not been confronted with $1,000 from Michael Bloomberg or $1,000 from anybody else. It would be a decision I would probably like to have to make, but it hasn't shown up yet. I think the two outside of town I've gotten have been from relatives.
Oh, sorry.
I think nationally that whole campaign thing, we should just all chip in the dollar on our tax forms and take care of it that way and not give anybody any more. All my campaign funds have come from local folks or a couple of friends from out of town, and I'm not supported by any PACs or sponsored by any groups, even from Moscow. So, and I feel like that's the way it should be.
Thank you. Much like the others, I'm a little scratched in my head because I haven't seen fast checks come flowing in from out of town. Some former area residents have chipped in and said, "Ooh, right, okay, we'll help." But it's been kind of the $25 range. And frankly, I would be extremely puzzled and head-scratching about why in the world would anybody outside the area give a rip about what's going on in Moscow City Council race. What do they possibly hope to influence? So I think at this level, the issue is entirely a moot point. It just doesn't seem to have any effect and have any relevance. You get up to state level and above, then it might have some impact. But here in Port Moscow, I think, given the cost of campaigns and how much a yard sign costs, I think everybody up here takes money from where you can get money just to help get your name out there and obtain even a chance to enter the race to get into the city council.
Thank you, and it's your turn to go first. I have,